What's up to Lion Talk Live? So we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
What's going on, Coach Dan at Lions Talk Live and the Duke Crew. This is Ball Hawk, Fatima LaFauna of the Detroit Lions. Everybody make sure you help support the YouTube channel Lions Talk Live by clicking that like and subscribe button. Let's get it and go Detroit.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live and Coach Dan by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
All right, well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton, and I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Lions Talk Live, Wednesday show edition, and you know what? Hey, something a little bit different for most of us. Something a little bit has changed for the Detroit Lions. The fact that you are about ready to kick off week 2 of the NFL season. You know what you're focused on? You're focused on the playoffs. You're focused on the NFC North. You're focused on seeding. You're focused on making sure that each game really does count. Why is that important? Because we all know that the Detroit Lions, if they get to host as the number 1 seed, playoff games and all roads to the Super Bowl go through Detroit, it's a huge advantage for the Detroit Lions. Let's talk about the start of the season. Let's talk about the fact that the LA Rams had to fly across country to come play us. Is that an advantage? It is. It is a big advantage. Now you factor in the home field, the whole shebang and bang, the comfortability for the players to be able to come up out of their own beds in the morning, just drive on over, walk on over to Ford Field, whatever it may be to play. That is a big advantage. And you're going to see that advantage once again for the second straight week kick off this NFL season as they get to host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, another team, as we all know, was a playoff team from a year ago. So if the Lions really want to consider themselves one of the creme a la creme, the top teams in this league and making a strong push for the NFC title, the NFC North, the road to the Super Bowl, they need to win games like this. And you know what? We're going to break it down a little bit later today. All right, real quick before we get into the meat of the show and the 5 headlines now to kick us off before we get to the main topic of the day, a couple real quick things. If you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, please consider doing so. Making that push for 7,900 subs, and we're about 30 away. So if you can help out with that, that'd be great. Also, keep in mind, until the end of the Bucs versus Lions playoff game this week, any new subscribers we receive, we're donating $1 for charity. So we've already raised quite a bit here, getting close to $200. Like to try to make that another 100, 200, or whatever it may be before the conclusion of Sunday's contest. Also, if you would be so kind as you're watching the video, hit that thumbs up button, hit that like button, whatever you want to call it. It helps the channel out a lot. It helps a lot of new people who have not discovered the channel find this one. So if you would be so kind, go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. All right, last but not least, if you are looking to buy or sell property anywhere in the great state of Michigan or beyond, if you're in the continental United States, you can give me a call or shoot me a text. You see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. Let's have a quick conversation, see what I can do to make the process easy for you, save you some money, and you know what? Try to get you a great house at a good price. So with all the formalities out of the way, let's get down to the first segment of the show, and that will be 5 headlines now. All right, we got some definitely headlines for you, so let's hop into it. Lions signed veteran kicker for team's practice squad. Pro Football Rumors, story by Ellie Allen. So, as you guys knew, it was going to happen at some point. Lions were going to bring into the practice squad just in case something were to happen, that, hey, there would be competition or there'd be somebody in place in case something were to happen to Jake Bates or whatever it is. I don't think this is a big threat in any way, shape, or form for Jake Bates, but the Lions have added somebody. The other aspect of this is the Lions were going to have to make a move one way or the other because they did have a veteran player or two who would need to be moved up to the roster because of their contracts and how the practice squad works. So not a big surprise, at least to me. All right, let's see. It's early, but Detroit Lions are looking like division champs if they can fix this one concern. Detroit Free Press, story by Carlos Menares. So most of you know he's been a beat reporter for the Free for decades. And he's identified in this story one area of concern he feels there is with the Detroit Lions. I can't say I've read this article, so I can't tell you what it is. So if you want, though, you got a little free time today or tomorrow, whatever it may be, go ahead and check out the story. See what Carlos thinks is perhaps the biggest concern currently with the Detroit Lions. All right, third of the 5 headlines now. Detroit Lions fans agree David Montgomery deserves game ball. Praise O-line. This is mlive.com, Corey Woods. And to be fair, you can only give out so many game balls. I guess you just want to give out game balls for everybody that you could. I gave one to Goff. Goff gave that to Jameson Williams. Probably a good move there. And then also, Alex Anzalone received a game ball. David Montgomery, though, obviously his performance in overtime, along with the offensive line, was pretty noteworthy. That really powered this team through into the end zone, got us the big win on opening night against the Rams. So could it be that maybe David Montgomery should have got it? I'll leave that for you to debate. See, fact or fiction? Did Lions defensive line struggle in opener? Sports Illustrated story by Christian Boer. So I will say, when you watch the game film, and I get it's a little different when I'm trying to do the play-by-play. When we were watching it live with the Dew crew on the live cast, I will say I thought Marcus Davenport had a pretty good game. Now, you go into the film and break things down, it does kind of confirm that. Aiden Hutchinson had 11 quarterback pressures, and he did get hits on the quarterback 6 times, obviously one of those being a sack. Marcus Davenport got half a sack along with Levi Onwuzurike. They split a sack, but Davenport did also get 6 other pressures with a number of hits on the quarterback as well. Levi Onwuzurike was one of the highest graded interior defensive linemen in week 1 throughout the entire NFL. So I know a lot of us wanted, 50 billion sacks in the first half alone by the Detroit Lions defense. But some of that you got to give credit to the Rams. We analyzed it to death yesterday, talked about it in the live cast that yes, Stafford was getting rid of the ball incredibly fast. But that doesn't mean the Detroit Lions defensive line wasn't doing a pretty good job. I think when you dive into it, really analyze the plays, and then go through this story, you might start thinking that Detroit's defensive line for week 1, and without DJ Reader, without James Houston, et cetera, didn't do so bad. All right, Detroit Lions wide receiver Jameson Williams set franchise record in week 1, and this is true. He did go out and have a little bit of a showing, and let's get that up there for you guys. Let me bring the comments off. But yes, as you can see on the screen, only wide receiver in Lions history to produce a game with 120 plus receiving yards, 1 receiving touchdown, and 10 yards rushing. He became the first Lions wide receiver to produce 120 plus receiving yards and a touchdown in a season opener since Calvin Johnson in 2014. Hard to believe Calvin's been gone from the team for a while, but he has. And hey, Jameson Williams, we talked about him potentially having a strong start to the season. He has done just that, in my opinion. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on out of the 5 headlines now and get over to some real quick and brief new NFC News and North notes, since we haven't done that in a little bit. Let's bring you up to date with the other teams in the North. All right, Broski Bear, you got something to talk about here. Hey, Bears host tryout for rookie quarterback after Caleb Williams struggles in first NFL game. Athlon Sports, Max Dibble. So are they going to bring in another rookie quarterback to replace Caleb Williams? Probably not, but it does appear the Bears are looking to add to the quarterback room after some struggles with Williams. We could talk about this all day. I think the Bears did less wrongs, and that's why they got the win opening night over Tennessee Titans. Tennessee Titans team that, in my opinion, literally threw that game away. All right, Vikings defensive tackle Harris Phillips agrees to a 2-year extension by Reuters. So not huge Detroit Lions news, but did want to give them a little bit of an update. And the signs looking better as Green Bay Packers don't place quarterback Jordan Love on injured reserve. The Ming Journal. So is it possible he could be back in 3 to 4 weeks? Absolutely. And I get why if I'm the Packers, I didn't put him on the IR just in case that MCL does recover a little bit quicker than 6 weeks. You want him back as quick as possible. We'll wait and see what shakes out. All right, with the NFC North news and notes out of the way, let's go ahead and get on over to the main topic of the day. All right, main topic of the day. the Lions versus Bucs. This is a big game. Make no mistake about it. You're the Detroit Lions. You're after, like I said in the opening monologue, going after the number 1 seed in the NFC. You want all roads to go through Detroit to get you to the Super Bowl. You got to win every game you possibly can. The Bucs come into this game. Antoine Winfield Jr., among other players in that Bucs secondary, are a little beat up. I don't remember all the guys' names, but I know one of their cornerbacks broken ankle, it does appear. Winfield Jr. is in a cast on his ankle, so it's not broken, but he's going to be out for a little bit. And I want to say they have one other person in their secondary who's a little beat up. That's probably an ideal setup for the Detroit Lions offense that I think we all get. They didn't play in the preseason, shaking off some rust against the Rams. Had moments they looked good, had other moments you looked like, hey, yeah, you hadn't played since February last year or whenever it was in the NFC title game. Lions have a ton of offensive weapons. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't already know. Amon-Ra St. Brown is probably going to receive the same type of defensive coverage this week that he did last week until the Lions continually throw Jameson Williams, Sam Laporta, or whoever else open because of the shift in the defense to take away St. Brown. That's probably going to be the case for a bit. At some point, though, you are going to force other defenses to make the choice. Do you keep letting this guy get a gajillion yards receiving and touchdowns, or do we have to stop him now, which now opens the first guy back up? That's going to be one of the best things about this Detroit Lions offense, in my opinion. And when facing the Bucs can play pretty good, sound defense. They've got good players at all 3 levels. I'm probably not telling you anything you don't already know when it comes to that. The Bucs probably are not going to blitz much. If they do, it'll probably be very, very limited to third downs in my anticipation. Why is that? Because their front 4 can get home, sort of like you're going to see with other teams. You're probably going to play, in my anticipation with the Bucs, you're probably playing some version of zone coverage in the back end with everybody, with 2 roaming linebackers over the middle. The Rams did this. You also remember last year, the first time we played the Bears. Well, to be fair, both times we played the Bears, and then that Thanksgiving Day game against Green Bay Packers. This was a defensive system employed by those teams. Why? Because it mostly takes away the middle of the field for the Detroit Lions. Who likes to roam there? Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam Laporta. But what it does give up is a lot of stuff in the flats, the out routes, and deeper shots down the field. What is Jameson Williams? What does he have, I guess you say, the potential to do with these? And that is with some of the deep shots. Remember last year, even when we played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, Jameson Williams had 1 or 2 deep shots that he caught, in part because the Buccaneers started trying to compress the middle of the field. So my anticipation, you're going to see a lot more wide receiver screens, a lot more screens with the running backs and running backs in the flats early in this game, because it's going to be pretty open and have some very favorable matchups for the Detroit Lions. The more they use this, the less teams can compress the middle of the field, which now, like we said earlier, opens up Amon-Ra St. Brown, Laporta, among other people. Defensively for the Detroit Lions, here are my anticipations. Probably a lot of what you saw last week. There will be some blitzing, but I don't think it's going to be an egregious rate. My anticipation is somewhere between 25 to maybe 35% of the time will blitz. And yes, it will probably be on key downs. The Lions front 4, sometimes front 5, did a fairly good job getting to Stafford. But again, like we said earlier, Stafford got rid of the ball so fast, it negated some of that pressure. Doesn't mean the Lions line wasn't getting to the quarterback, though. Mayfield, I don't think, is as strong. It's not really part of his game, snapping, 3-step drop, getting rid of the ball. It's also, I think, going to eliminate a lot of Mike Williams if you try to do that consistently, because it's just not his game plan. It's not something he is going to be great at. He's not Cooper Kupp. He's a great wide receiver. He's just not that type of wide receiver. So I think that's another factor that will help out the Detroit Lions. This game I do anticipate will be a little bit higher scoring because the Bucs can put up some points. The Lions defense, in my opinion, we've been talking about it all since the offseason. I don't really think it's geared to just say, hey, we're going to hold you to 3 down or less all the time. It's geared to get turnovers. And against the Rams, what did you see? You saw a lot of turnover-worthy plays. We just couldn't hold on. Brian Branch had 2 near interceptions. One of them probably would have been a pick 6 if he could have caught it, and he would have gone into the end zone. Unfortunately, he didn't hold on. Carlton Davis, right before the end of the regular fourth quarter regulation, he nearly has a pick. You also have Kirby Joseph with nearly a second pick. Aiden Hutchinson nearly forces a strip sack. So the plays were there. Unfortunately for Detroit, they just didn't finish him off, but it didn't stop us from getting the win. It's my guess that this week you're probably going to see the Bucs turn the ball over a little bit, in part because of that pressure and because the gambling type of defense the Lions run in the second and third layers. You're probably going to see some games this season where we do get 3-4 turnovers. And when you get that, this offense is going to put up some points, and I think you're going to have some blowouts. All right, that's my thoughts on it. Let's see what you guys have to say. Vegas seems to concur. Last I checked, and again, you guys know more about this Jazz than I do. The Lions were somewhere between, I want to say, 5.5 to 7-point favorites. I know enough about gambling to know usually at the NFL level, you don't get those kind of spreads unless Vegas is anticipating a wee bit of a beatdown. Let's see what you guys have to say on it, though, and get over to the Duke Crew in the comments section. So let's Scooby-Doo this and scroll on up to the top. Give me a second here. There's a few comments here, and let's kick it off. Michael, greetings, salutations, coach and Duke Crew, exclamation points, Super Bowl or bust one pride. Woo, woo. And good morning to you too, Michael. Hopefully you're having a great one. Jason, greetings, salutations to the Lions Talk Live Den of Honolulu Blue, exclamation point, Superdome or bust. And you know what? You want to get to that Superdome, you need to make sure all roads go through the Detroit Lions. And so I'm with you there, my friend. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! And good morning to you too. Bo, the Bucs, the Bucs stop here. I see Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. Yes, I see what you did there, and good job, my friend. Mike the Marine Gunny. Howdy, Dan and the Duke Crew. Welcome to our Woosville. There we go. And good morning to you, Gunny. Moonscar Blade. Good morning, Duke Crew. Starting lineup, exclamation point. How is everyone this morning? Question mark. How's the coffee treating you? Hey, we'll have to see what they say, but I am about 45 minutes from a Mountain Dew. JK, even on the bye week, Lions can't be that comfortable. I agree. Yeah, you can't be comfortable. One of the things last year, I disagree when people say they didn't face pressure. They were the hunters, not the hunted. At some point, you would have to be oblivious if you're one of the coaches on the other teams, because the year prior to that, so 2 years ago, you finished 9-7, perhaps 9-8, excuse me, perhaps the hottest team in the NFL going into that final week of the regular season. So people were paying attention to you. Now, last year, Lions, a huge run, big record. Every game, people would have been lining up saying, hey, look at these guys, look at these records. They would have been aware of us. This year, I'd say the one difference is the margin for error between number one seed, second seed is typically pretty small. Using teams I've coached in the past, and I'll just use this one as an example. Last year, the team I coached, the difference between us tying for first place in the conference and being second place was half a game. Half a game. That's it. And, hey, you got to take advantage of every game. And that's part of the pressure of competing for a championship. Part of the pressure competing for a number one seed, a number two seed, whatever you want. The margin for error is so small, you cannot have games off. And that's what, if I'm MCDC, I think that him and the team are all aware of that. So they're going to come out probably a little bit more ready to go, probably a little less rust. And you know what? Their players are going to perform at a higher level, especially some of the younger players. All right, the non-laughers think the D will ball out, exclamation point, one pride. I agree. I can't wait to see the D. I think every week that goes by, they're going to get the concepts. They're going to gel a little bit more. They're going to produce a lot more. Say, Dave, I hope Jared Goff can snap out of his coma for the Bucs game. I think he will, man. I mean, wasn't his greatest performance by any means last week. But again, like you saw around the NFL, there were a lot of quarterbacks that struggled. And I don't exactly remember this, but I want to say it was the worst overall week one performance by quarterbacks. I want to say in like 10 years, and that's as a whole, not just one or two people. And a lot of that is guys don't play in the preseason. And while it may seem like not much of a detail, look at the pick he threw, trying to throw to Amon-Ra St. Brown over the middle of the field. He's like a quarter of a second late. If he recognizes that read a quarter second faster, a half second faster, what do we want to say? That's completion. We get 6-7 yards, maybe 8. Instead, it's just the brain slows down a little bit, and it's not as familiar. And because of it, hey, give their safety some credit. He was able to make a pretty good play. Bo, we have stealth on our side, exclamation point, Blueberry Fields forever. There you go. Yeah, and if you guys don't know what he's talking about, I guess Stafford and the Rams, there was a report, I put it out a couple of days ago, accusing the Lions of using the blue uniforms because it kind of blends in with some of the stuff in the background. The only comment I would have on that is, it would be no different for Goff than it would be for Stafford because they're all looking at the same uniforms. I didn't really think that much of it, but could it be something? Sure. It always could be. Team Moonscar, I think all around the team, offense, defense, special teams, got the rust knocked off week 1. Yeah, I agree. And across the NFL, you should notice a lot more offense this week, in my opinion. And that goes for, like I said, not just our team, but a lot of different teams. See, the non-laughers, greetings and salutations. I think the offense will be much better on Sunday. I concur. I could see us moving the ball a lot more crisply than last week. See, Jesse, greetings and salutations. This will be another big test for us to open the year. Bucs got some dudes on that team. Yeah, they do. It is a pretty good team. That's why they won a playoff game last year. That's why, hey, our game with them last year, both of them were dang tight games. So this isn't going to be a cakewalk by any stretch, but you're at home. You got to win the home games. Clark, what be happening, Duke Crew? Question mark. Sounds like Tampa Bay has more than a few injuries. Their secondary is a little beat up to the point where I know there was talk that they might look at signing a couple guys this week like Patrick Peterson or whatever. And it's not that they can't do it. If they do, they do. But I would say bringing somebody in today's, Wednesday, how much of the playbook terminologies, et cetera, are they going to really know by Sunday? It's probably not an ideal setup, but maybe they signed somebody yesterday or the day before, and I'm just not privy to it yet. See, John, good morning, coach and crew. This will be a close game. Both Tampa and LA are good teams. We ended the season last year. They are motivated. Yeah, and, I put out a video yesterday. Really, what do you expect Baker Mayfield and the Bucs to say? They are going to be motivated to play us. They are going to be focused on it. They're going to circle that game. Why? It is a revenge game for them. You beat them. You knocked them out of the playoffs last year. I don't care what level you play at. If you have that kind of thing happen to you, any level, I don't care if it's Pop Warner, I don't care if it's high school, college, whatever, people are going to want to go out and prove that was a fluke that you did to us last year. They're going to want to come on out, and Mayfield's going to be motivated to prove he can do better. Remember how last year's playoff game ended? He's going to want to erase at least some of that from his memory. All right, Matthew Green, salutations. Good morning, everyone. Superdome, Super Bowl. Woo, woo, woo. Sheila likes a woo in the fresh morning dew. Yes, she does. Yes, she does. Eddie, Green, salutations, Duke Crew. Let's get to Mayfield and discount, double check him into the ground. See if it can happen. I don't know if they still do the discount double check, but if not, hey, let's bring it back. Robert, greetings and salutations all. Same with you, Robert. The Lions did blend in with the end zone a little, but nothing to cry about over, Matt. Yeah, and I get it is what it is, man. Like I said, if it would have affected him, it would have affected Goff too. So, I mean, I don't know, man. Go with it wherever you want. Come to your own conclusions with it. All right, France, good day all. I'm thinking our offense will take things up on their level this week. Last week, they got to shake the rust off, some rust off. This week, they will shine. I think there will be noticeable improvement, and again, with a lot of different teams, not just one or two. Big Daz, good morning to the crew of Dew in the land of Dan! Exclamation points. Oh, yeah. AG better get it together. He should have doubled Cooper Cup all day. The game shouldn't have been that close. I did wonder about the double teaming. They were obviously doing it to St. Brown. Why weren't we doing it? That I guess I don't know. Although I am anticipating the Lions to be among the league leaders in the most amount, percentage-wise, of man-to-man coverages throughout the season, especially the more Terrion Arnold gets acclimated to the NFL. I can get his score from Pro Football Focus wasn't the greatest last week, but watching the film for a rookie corner, especially matched up a lot of the times with Cooper Kupp, I thought he did pretty dang well. Let's see, Robert, I have listened to 731 shows in 3,214 breaking news now. Hey, you have watched the channel quite a bit there, my friend, and thank you for all of that. See, Jason, headline, Detroit appears to only have 8 defenders on the field as the rest are camouflaged in the end zone, confusing Mayfield. That'd be a brilliant strategy, and I wonder if we try to do the camouflage thing again. I'm all for it, man. Home field advantage is just that. It's your home field. Play it to your advantage. See, Robert, I also hope that there will be the Tree of Destiny unveiling. It will be, I think Jason said, in November. See, JK, feeling like playoffs already? It is, man. But you know what? When you're fighting for the opportunity to be the best team in the NFL, or at least the NFC, you know what? Every week is a playoff game because that road for the number 1 seed is dang close. dang tough. 70, good morning, boys! Exclamation point. St. Brown will bounce back this game, and I think our defense will show more improvement. Yeah, probably. They're going to have to work on scheming him open against, double teaming zone coverages a little bit more. But again, you're going to do that. You're going to commit that many people to him. You're going to open somebody else up. Robert, only in Detroit. I'll take that. See, Moonscar, Michael D, no bust, exclamation point. What is this bust you speak of? Question mark. All Super Bowls here in my Duke crew, brother. I'll go with that. And yes, I concur. Tori, let's see. Good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Back at you. Bo Goff has supervision on his side, able to see blue on blue. Yeah, hey, maybe that is a thing. I don't know, but I guess we'll find out, man. Let's see, Brent. Good morning, Duke crew. The Bucs are next to fall. Lombardi on the way. Oh yeah, and I agree. I think it's a pretty good matchup for us. And then we can get on to the next game, but one game at a time. Focus on this one before we get to other ones. Robert, Baker Mayfield may not look so good with all the pressure that we're going to bestow upon him. Yeah, I think, again, and it's one game, so you don't want to say it's a firm rule or anything, but I think Mekhi Wingo looked good. I thought Levi Onwuzurike looked good. Marcus Davenport, I get there were some people that, hey, how come he didn't get 50 sacks? Look how often he did get to the quarterback. It's just Stafford got rid of the ball that fast. There aren't many quarterbacks in this league that can get rid of the ball in 2 seconds or less. There aren't many receivers like Cooper Kupp that can get open that fast in the flats or on the sidelines. And he's a tough guard. And I went into that game thinking this was going to be one of the tougher matchups for the defense for those 2 specific reasons. I thought, obviously, Puka Nacua would be around 2 to add another layer to it. Unfortunately for the Rams, he wasn't, but hopefully he's healing up. Robert, Super Bowl, Superdome, woo! We'll go with that. And you know what? Hey, just because it's been a minute, let's give you guys a. All right, there you go. Hey, first one of the day. Jimmy, what do you got? Keep in mind that Tampa's quarterback is going to hold the ball longer than Stafford. I agree. Did so Hutch, Aleem, Reader, Davenport should have a sack fest. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I think, Stafford, it's hard to replicate what he does, and he probably doesn't get enough recognition for the level of quarterback he is. You can say whatever you want about some of the post-game stuff, but on the field, just evaluating that part, the dude's got an arm. He can do the no-look passes. He can put a lot of pressure on different defenses. So for a defense that was out there, hey, the secondary's never played together before all preseason. A lot of guys figuring things out. I didn't think we did horribly in week 1 against them. See, Michael, Lions worried, laughing out loud. The entire league should be worried. This lunchbox carrying Lions team is here to work, not sit around and whine about nonsense these teams have been throwing at us. I'll go with that. Yeah. Then I think, we're definitely got a workman-like mentality. Trey, what's good, all? Question mark. Jimmy, you are dead right on that. Stafford got that ball out fast. Mayfield is good, but he's not firing that ball out like Matt. No, you're probably right. He's going to hold it a little bit longer. That does allow for some deeper shots. The Rams, really, they just dinked and dunked down the field. And I'm not saying that's wrong or anything, but anytime they were forced into a little bit longer pass routes, that's where you really saw the pressure of the Lions get home. Doesn't mean they got home all the time, but they got hits on Stafford in those situations. Big Daz, that's what's happened last year, exclamation point. All these wide receivers having career days against us. If the opposition can double team 3 of our players, we can surely double 1 of theirs. I got so mad during the game. Yeah, I think a lot of people they got tired of seeing Kupp pick us apart. So let's see what happens in game 2. Bo Baker has a different energy about him. He does, man. And you know what? He's on a renaissance mission, and I'm guessing Cleveland right now really wishes they didn't let him go. But it is what it is if you're a Cleveland Browns fan. Moonscar, both Lions D going to be singing blue on black, tears on a river, push on a shove. It don't mean much. Okay, I'll go with that. Blue on black. It could be where we go. AJ, good morning. Back at you. Good morning to you too. Big D, good morning all. Oh, the pressure. Yes, the pressure. And let's face it, you want to be the man, you got to keep winning. And yes, that means week in and week out, there are no off weeks. You can't go 500. You can't finish with 10 wins. If you really want to win this division, I think it's going to be a tough division, the NFC North. And if that means you win the division, you now are focused on the number 1 seed. You got to take care of business. Number 1 or 2 seed, I got to imagine the Lions want that number 1. See, Moonscar NFC North theme song. I'll concur with that. See, Papa Noel, good morning. We are under pressure. I see what you did there. Under pressure, yes. Jason, we have to slow down Mike Evans and pressure Mayfield. This year's defense is set up for exactly that. We will see any man coverage. I think it will play mostly man coverage. Could be wrong. Last week, I was surprised we played so much zone. We did mix in some man, especially as the game progressed. But I want to say in the first half, and don't hold me to this, guys. I don't have any stats in front of me. I want to say we're probably about 70% zone. Second half, I think we kind of evened it out. I would say it is close to 50-50 zone versus man. So maybe AG was just saying, hey, opening night, we know we got nerves and everything. Maybe we just need to let the guys have a couple of quarters to get acclimated to each other before we throw too much man at them. Robert, good morning, Hatman. Remember, make good decisions, and the rest of your day will be hallelujah blue and silver. Lions rule, I'll go with that. And yes, good thoughts there. Quentin, Grace, sanitation all. We good this game. Tampa Bay is sound, but we about to lock them up and put a win up. I think we've got a real good, strong chance. Obviously, Vegas kind of confirms that, but it doesn't really matter what we all think. As players, as coaches, you have to go out there and earn those wins on a week-to-week basis. You can't get filled up with yourself. You can't overlook people because when you do, you let down, you don't play your best, and you keep teams around. The longer you keep a team around in a game, the more they start believing they have a chance. Now they start playing at a higher and higher level, do stuff they don't normally do, and that usually bites you in the butt. See, Robert Arnold will need to stick to Evans if possible. 100% with that. 100%. Voltron Force, good morning all. Back at you. Dave, think we blitz more Sunday? I could see it getting to about, I don't know, man. We'll go 40% of the time, which, to be fair, that's quite a bit of blitzing. You don't want to do it all the time. It becomes predictable, but you do want to try to throw some stuff off to throw timing off and keep Mayfield guessing. Robert, yes, Sosimo should see some good improvement on both O and D. I think, I agree with that. Russ getting shook off, getting a little further into the playbooks and stuff, getting more comfortable with guys. See, Robert, are we allowed to paint the entire field hallelujah blue? Yeah, that would be a bold strategy. What is it? Oregon or somebody like that has the blue field or whatever it is field. I wouldn't be surprised that at some point maybe the Lions add to their home field advantage and do some more stuff like that. Rocky M, good morning all. And pressure is just a part of a game. Feel it every day. Welcome to the pressure cooker. Woo! And Coach Rock, I agree, man. You want pressure. You know what? If you don't win, you don't have pressure. When you win and you win more, expectations rise. That adds more pressure to it. So one other thing, you want to talk about home field advantages. I still think Miami has one of the best home field advantages because the home team gets to sit in shade while the visiting team is on the other side of the field with the sun on them directly all the time, roasting. And especially in Miami heat, Miami humidity, along with the sunshine, that's a pretty big home field advantage. Not going to say it's better than ours. It's just another one. Tay Main, all good. What do you got? Good morning, all. And I think our defense is going to get after Baker. If DJ Reader is back, that's what I hear. I think we at least get pressure on the quarterback and stopping the run game. Yeah, I think you're spot on, man. I think we're going to get, and Reader does sound like he's going to be back this game. Whether or not it's going to be full go, pitch count, we'll wait and see. Snap count, whatever you want to say. I think we're going to stop the Bucs running game pretty well and be able to get after Mayfield. So I think you're right. Troy, are we thinking Reader and Houston this weekend? I think Reader will be a massive addition once back. Yeah, I agree because he can push the middle. And not that Levi owns Enrique. Both of them, they both will add a lot of stuff to the Lions. Levi and Reader as your DTIs, your primary DTIs. I think they'll hold those running lots or lanes pretty well. And not that the Lions did a bad job last week, but it'll just take it to another level. It also allows a lot of guys on that defense line on passing downs to shoot gaps more and more and try to get immediate pressure. So I think you're spot on with that. Just from the hunter to the hunted, an animal is most dangerous when cornered. Just ask the Rams. They were a great sacrifice. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, you get somebody backed in the corner. Yeah, they can come out swinging, and let's see if we do. See, Phil, greetings and salutations. Back at you, my friend. Hopefully it's a great day. Manberg, greetings and salutations to the black and blue Dew crew. I'll take that. See, Phil, unless there's injuries, Houston may not see the field this year. We will see, man. He does seem like he's a little bit in the doghouse, but I'm hoping he gets out there and gets back to 2 years ago form. Just a San Francisco game at the end of the season will be telling, a precursor to things to come. To talk about that real quick, and obviously we got months until that game. Here's my question to you guys. If that game does come down to, hey, winner gets the number 1 seed, I'm guessing both teams have a reason to play. If it doesn't, though, how much do you think everybody holds back on that game, knowing there's a realistic opportunity we face these guys in another 2 or 3 weeks in the playoffs? I think that there's going to be a lot of things that come into play when that particular game is played by both teams. Coach Rock, I hope we are wrong in the refs being told not to call holding calls. That's a good as fixing a game. So I want to be clear on that. I think last week they were told to back off on it in the first, aspects of the game, first couple of quarters, because they understood the NFL is a business, man. They don't want to see Stafford get blown up and broken for the season because it kills the Rams season. And LA is a tough market to sell anyways. If you don't have a chance to win a championship in Los Angeles or California, most fans don't show up. But if they know you've got a chance, they will show up. Plus, opening week of NFL football, the last game of Sunday, they probably want it to be as competitive a game as possible because it helps and benefits both teams, let alone the league. So, but if you notice, though, Coach, when you get to that, fourth quarter, when the Rams, cut into it and get ready to take the lead, now all of a sudden, there are holding calls left and right. Why? Because it will impact the result of the game. They wanted to stay close. They don't want to, throw a game, though. But that's just my opinion. I can't say there's any kind of corroborating information or whatever. That's just my opinion. If you look over the course of the game, it seems that was the case. Paul, good morning, Duke Crew. Woo! And good morning to you, too. JK, DJ Reader is bringing the Baker pressure. You mean, Coach? Yes, I believe he will. Come up that middle and get in his face, flush him out of the pocket right into, Davenport or Hutchinson or somebody else. Drum, good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Is our defense what you expect it to be? Yeah, so far, I've been happy with it. And again, I never thought going into the season we're going to play the type of defense that, hey, we're going to be number 1 in the league and fewest yards allowed or anything like that. I think our goal with this defense and the style we're going to play is to lead the league in turnovers caused. And if you can do that, throw the yards out the window, man. If I get however many picks and fumbles this year, along with sacks, I think you're doing a pretty good job because it puts more possessions into your offense's hands. See, Dave, what do you got? Good morning, Dan of the Duke Crew, looking for a 2-0 record. I concur with you. I think that is the goal this year or this week. Jerome, hey, Coach, what's the difference in your opinion of Ram style and Bucs play versus Bucs? So just start with the offense. I won't do everything, but just start with the offense. Stafford, as we mentioned earlier, he can get rid of the ball incredibly fast, and that's partially because the type of receivers he has. Cooper Kupp, when healthy, can get in and out of breaks as fast as anybody in NFL history, and that's no disrespect to anybody else. It's just that is his strength, and it is pretty dang strong. So now you have a quarterback that can release the ball incredibly fast, too. It puts a lot of pressure on the defensive line, as we all saw, to get home because you only have about 2, maybe 2.5 seconds to get there. It puts a lot of pressure on the D because you can't give up the deep route and you can't give up the sideline route. So that's a tough ask for any D without playing a ton of zone coverage. The other part with the Bucs now, Baker Mayfield, he likes more medium to deep shots. That's why you also last year in both games, you watched him take a bunch of deep shots in both games. Watching him in the first game of the season against the Commanders, the Bucs offense took a lot of deep shots. But what do you need for deep shots? You need more like 3 to 4 seconds to throw, not 2 to 3 seconds. So I suspect they'll make some adjustments because they also know the Lions line, or at least they believe the Lions line can get after them. That's why I also think the blitzing percentage will go up for Detroit this week. All right, Kurt Steele, what up, though? Duke Crew, what up to you, man of Steel? Hope you're having a great one. Bo, J-Mo getting a 100-yard day? I think so, especially if they are going to focus so much on Laporta and St. Brown. Pat, hey, Coach Dan, exclamation points. Woo! What do you think about Houston not even dressing for last week's game? I think that might be a big red flag. Oh, yeah, it could be. It could be he's still hurt. It could be they're like, hey, obviously I love the guy to death. He is limited to just playing one position. They probably aren't going to put him on special teams again. They're not going to have him drop into coverage. They're not going to have him play linebacker. It is going to be just defensive end rush specialist. Because of that, and you only get to have, whatever it is, 47 guys active on game day roster, you got to make some hard choices. All right, Phil, good morning, Mr. Steele, 100%. Miles Marker, good morning, all. I'm sort of glad it's a 1 p.m. game. Everybody will be fired up with energy. Both teams and fans, and Carlton Davis will be fired up. 100%. I have no doubt he's probably giving us all sorts of, insider information on things that the Bucs do. But that happens with every team. You heard MCDC talk about it a week ago about Jonah Jackson. They had to change some calls, adjustments, because he could tip them off to it. He played here a year ago. Anytime you have guys leave, it's going to happen. You can't always protect against it, but I'm going to guess the Bucs will make some adjustments because of Carlton Davis. All right, Pat, what do you got? What is your prediction for the Tampa Bay game, Coach Dan? And, you have to wait till Friday's show to get my score prediction, even though you saw one, whatever it was, a week ago with Dan O'Damas doing the season prediction game by game. We'll see if I make any adjustments for this week's game. Henry Moore, good morning, Dan and the Duke Crew. Can't wait for Tampa Bay. Go Lions, 100%, my friend. I think everybody's pretty fired up. Tough part about Wednesdays, man, you're halfway removed from the prior game. You're halfway to the next game, so it's a tough day. JK, good morning, Mr. Kurt Steele. There you go. Jason, Dan O'Dama's first prediction of 38-27 Lions, then changed it to 44-20 recently. Do you agree, Dan? Well, Dan O'Damas has got a mind of his own. You'll have to wait till Friday's show to see if there is a third prediction. Either way, though, I'm thinking it's possible Dan O'Damas could predict a third straight or a third guess that the Lions would win this game. All right, Bo, night games definitely messing with my schedule. Looking forward to 1 p.m. games. Yeah, you wake up, you get a few things done, and it's game time. See, Pat, I don't think that kicker is any good. He's bounced around the NFL for a while. Yeah, I don't think he's anything super strong or anything. I think he's there just to fulfill or eat up a practice squad spot. Miles Marker, Campbell gave Demo game ball, I thought. From what I know, he gave it to Goff. Goff gave it to Jameson Williams. I don't think Montgomery got one, but maybe I'm wrong with that. I can only go by the article that was written. Let's see, Miles and Anzalone. Yeah, Anzalone definitely got one. Yeah, and deservingly so. Troy, Monty, and Angeline both got game. Angeline both got game balls L as well. Okay, fair enough. Anzalone. All right. Yeah, that part I guess I didn't know. Phil, let's see, Jack Campbell struggled a bit. He did. Not so much the run defense, but as much as the Rams were throwing the ball around, he did struggle a little bit, and I think that's why you saw Rodrigo come in the game. So I get he's still learning, but he's got to get that down, man. If not, teams will use that to their unfair advantage. Bo, let's see, holding was helping the Rams O-line. Yeah, it was. If the holds, so, and I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist. I'm just trying to give you guys my honest thoughts like we did during the live cast. I think everybody could see the holds, but the NFL does not want to see Matt Stafford blow out a knee in week 1 because his offensive line is beat up. So I'm not going to blade it. I've already talked about it. You guys will probably all get it. This week, the Bucs should be fairly good on their offensive line. You're probably going to see a lot different calls from the officials. You also probably see a lot different results from the defensive line of the Lions. JK, Ansel, one defensive side, D-Monty, one offensive side, in your opinion. Yeah, I agree with that. Bo, Stafford release and game plan were big factors. Yeah, and especially the fact that you could put Cooper Kupp in motion like that consistently and then get him in and out of routes. It made it hard for anybody to get up to the line of scrimmage and jam him or press him. And that's, I'm guessing, why McVay did it. The other part is you easily reveal, are they in zone or are they in man? See, Brent, what I saw from Davenport was encouraging. If he can stay healthy, he'll definitely help the DL. I agree with that, 100%. Kurt Steele, JK, what up, Doe? Courtney, good morning, Duke Crew. And Coach, just love the Lions start, exclamation points. Now Tampa Bay missing Winfield cornerback. Yeah, they've got a couple guys out along with safety, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm guessing this almost forces them exclusively into zone coverage. There's good and bad with it, but I think that it could potentially see another big game for you fantasy football guys. Another big game for Jameson Williams because he can bust the zone. If you don't get pressure on Goff, and if you're going to focus two guys on St. Brown and Laporta, yeah, Jameson Williams could have some real favorable deep shot opportunities. All right, Phil, Bears is where rookie quarterbacks go to fail. Could be. I know my brother Tim was pointing out yesterday that was it. Caleb Williams had like the worst rating of a rookie quarterback in NFL history or something like that for opening day game or something. I mean, some stat like that, and it might be. But the hard part is when I watch rookies, I go, man, so much can change from a week to week, let alone week 1 to week 6 to week 12. So I wouldn't write his funeral obituary quite just yet. See, Miles Margaret, Bo Booth, yeah, I agree, and it was a very effective approach. It was. Kurt Steele, people saying Lions tried cheat with the uniform colors is crazy. I mean, I don't think they did it because, again, like we talked about earlier in the show, if Stafford's gonna struggle with it, it would be the same color schemes that Goff would have to go through. And if you really feel like it's gonna mess with a quarterback, are you gonna mess with your own quarterback? Now, maybe Goff is oblivious to color problems, so that's not an issue. But I don't know, man. It's possible. I think to me, it sounds like sour grapes, and I guess I'll just go there with it. JK, Bears should look for a Sudfield. He's a great addition. Maybe they will. That would be great, in my opinion. Pat, why do you think the Lions are still keeping 7 linebackers on the active roster? Because some of them they'll use as rush ends. So even with Derek Barnes Sunday, you did see, especially in the second half, they were trying to keep everybody fresh. They were using Barnes in that role. They used Campbell a little bit in there. But, they're allowing some of their linebackers to go out and rush the quarterback as well. Bo, Kurt, now we need to introduce drones. The modern approach, hey, could be, we could have some drones just flying all around the field and maybe batting down passes. Ed O'Neill, hey, good to see you, man. It has been a hot minute since we've seen you. Good morning. Now that J-Mo has shown what he can do to the NFL, how do you see teams playing us now? I don't think they'll change yet, but I do think if he has another strong performance, so either this week, next week, that's going to force a lot of defense coordinators into a bad situation. You can't stop everybody. You got at least 2 receivers that are out there that can shred a defense, it appears right now. You got a tight end. You got 2 running backs. And this is, if Tim Patrick ends up being something, or Khalif Raymond ends up getting out there and doing some more stuff, it's tough to stop everything. And you're going to have to pick your poisons, because if you try to stop nothing, then you achieve just that. You're going to stop nothing. So teams are going to do what they've got to do. My guess is St. Brown throughout the season is going to be priority number 1 to stop. Laporta number 2, go from there. That's my opinion, though. Miles Margaret, Kurt Steele, they just want to give this Lions team an asterisk again. Dang annoying. It happens, man. Everybody's going to try to rain on your parade. When you're at the top, let me tell you, as long as I've coached, this is season 35, everybody's your best friend. Watching friends of mine that coach, if you don't have, strong teams, if you don't win often, man, everybody loves you because they're like, hey, you got it next season. Man, next game, I think you got it. But when you're out there whooping people's butts all the time, that's when the haters come in, and the hater house just flies. What you're seeing with the Lions, that's a result of them winning. Why is Stafford crying or whatever? And, I hope some of those quotes and stuff are wrong, but why is he doing it? I think he feels a little bit embarrassed by the fact he left Detroit, and now he sees Detroit is what he always wanted it to be. The fact that they got to the playoffs, they won the division, they won playoff games, and it's just something he can never do. So, I hope I'm wrong on it, but I think, as long as we're going to be good, you're going to have more and more of this happen. All right, Kurt Steele, Miles Margaret, absolutely. See, Ed, the Tampa Bay game will come down to the trenches. Our offensive line did not play up to par in the last drive until the last drive. Yeah, I agree with you. On the live cast, I was talking, man, they are just letting every stunt or pull get into Goff's face, and that's something they'll clean up. This line's too good, in my opinion, to allow that. It's just, again, they hadn't played together. I don't think they've done much together. So when they clean up some of that communication, some of that stuff should go away. But it's also why I was surprised we weren't doing that kind of stuff on a regular basis to the Rams line, because those guys, man, they don't even know each other's names. Bo, Detroit Lions stealth defense, I like it. The stealth fly zone, or no fly zone. Pat, I was surprised they took up a TK85 from the practice squad instead of one of the other 3 wide receivers. Either they don't know playbook, they are not very good, and yes, I like TK85. Yeah, I think the other guys, and I could be completely wrong, I think the reason why some of them weren't elevated is because they don't yet know enough of the playbook to help out. The other part is TK85, Tom Kennedy. I mean, he's probably knows the playbook left and right. I mean, he's been here for like a gajillion years now. Let's see, Bo, TK85 is live 100%. Phil, let's see, Bo, yeah, Phil, let's see. The quick shout out to the Tigers, 11-0 complete game for the pitcher. Now, that is something. I did see that they were, within 2 or 3 games of the playoffs. That's a heck of a comeback from a team that was left for dead 2 months ago. Coach Rock, Sean McVay had months to game plan for the Lions, and the Bucs got a week. Good luck slowing them down this week. I think you're more spot on, Coach Rock, than you probably realize. And I think McVay took it as personally an insult, along with Stafford, what happened last year in the playoffs. All roads led into it, and that's also why you see so many upsets week 1, because you have months and months for teams to prepare for things. I'm not going to say the Lions didn't prepare for it, but I don't think they prepared for to the same extent as the Rams or, New England Patriots probably prepared for months for Cincinnati, because to them, to New England, that was probably like their Super Bowl. Let's see, Bo, flats open, and now the deep shots to J-Mo, 100%. Yeah, and that's where I think a lot of things will start setting up. Miles, TA Main, all good, yeah. I sure want to see Reader out there. I like bringing him on roster from the get-go. Want him to prove me right. Yeah, and I think he will. I think he's going to be a huge addition. Gary, good morning, Duke Crew. Back at you, Gary. Kurt Steele, CD will travel with Mike Evans and Carlton Davis? Probably. It could be. Yeah, it could be for sure. If not, that's a tell that they really think Arnold is him. Miles Marker, good morning, Gary. There you go. Good morning to everybody. Bo Baker doesn't sling it as fast as Stafford. I see picks coming. Yeah, he doesn't. And, Godwin's probably the closest they would have to, I think, a Cooper Kupp. And I just don't think it's in his real route tree where he can do that left and right as well as Chris Godwin. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they both will do it. Maybe they'll both get 100 catches each. But I just don't see that being the strength of the Bucs. Coach Rock, good teams can do just enough to win. Yeah, woo! And I would agree. Lions didn't play great, but they won. And for decades, we've talked about it before on the show, for decades, you've watched the Lions find ways to lose. Well, here they're finding ways to win. So enjoy it while we got it, man, because it's good to have. Southwest, great tune-up game will be ready for Tampa. I agree. Pat, hey, Coach, I never seemed to seen I Williams, the wide receiver on the field. Did you? No, I don't think he got any snaps on the field. Ronnie, what do you got? Vegas increasing the line against the Rams made me think it was a trap game. It almost was. I feel the same about this game with the line so high. It could be, man. I hope it's not. I hope the Lions have woken up a little bit and shaken off the rust. About quarterback struggle and guys slipping on was the story of the first weekend. Yeah, so you think about how much different Goff's stats would have been if St. Brown doesn't slip and then Gibbs on the would-be touchdown in the fourth quarter. The only good thing I would say is by not scoring that touchdown with like 1:05 left, you denied really the Rams a lot of opportunities to set up an offense to go down the field because they still had 3 timeouts. Shaw, what do you got? It doesn't make sense for our team colors. We need to handicap ourselves and the opponent. Yeah, I agree. It didn't make any sense to me either. Miles Margaret, thank you for that bit of fantastic Tigers news. My somewhat grumpy neighbor is going to be in a great mood today. Well, glad to see it and glad to see the Tigers are resurrecting their season. Gary Green, salutations, coach and Duke Crew. I saw the Sporting News that they think the Lions should go after Akeo Witherspoon. Do you think the youngster would welcome a veteran cornerback, or should we stick with the kids? I'd say stick with the kids, man. At this point, if you haven't made a move for somebody else, you're probably not, unless somebody gets hurt. Miles Margaret, see above. There you go, Phil. Kurt, Bo Booth, most teams practice on grass in camp, then played on turf week 1. Yeah, so you've got to make some adjustments. I would say the equipment managers across the league are not looking like they've done a very good job for week 1. Dimitri, Detroit, let's go. Woo! Give one, Dan. You want a woo? I'll give you a woo. How about a ask and he shall receive, my friend. Let's see, Michael, they will be clicking much better against the Bucs come Sunday. There was a lot of pressure on the Lions because of all the Super Bowl hype. Now that we have the first game under our belt, all okay, A-okay? Yes, and I agree. You get some of the rust off, you get familiar with each other. You're out there, you'll probably play a little bit better. Bo, good point. Kurt, Rocky, maybe the blend was in Goff's issues. Yeah, it could be. Dimitri, Kurt Steele, what up, though? Exclamation points, fam. There you go. Southwest, AG did his job. He threw him in the fire. It was make him better, faster. The rookie looked great. So I think you're spot on with that. Talking about Terry Arnold and all the rookies out there, but let's just focus on Terry Arnold right now. You think about what the Lions have in their own division with Jefferson and all the different great receivers. The fact that he's starting his NFL career, starting 1 on the field and 2 going up against Kupp, Evans, Godwin. You're gonna get CD Lamb against the Rams. He's gonna, Arizona Cardinals got some guys too. He's gonna get developed by the time we play NFC North games against some of the best receivers in the league. That's gonna help him grow and mature as a cornerback much faster. Let alone when we get to the playoffs, he should have shown significant growth. Bo Cup said TA did well. He considers him one of those guys. Yeah, I agree with that. I think he gave him some real good compliments there. Dimitri, what it do, Lions fam? Exclamation points. Dan, oh yeah, and good morning to you too. Hopefully you have an outstanding start of your day, my friend. Michael, Lions 34, Bucs 24. I would take that 100%. Kurt Steele, Dimitri, what up though? What up to you both? Tom Main, what do you got? TA going to be a star just like Slay Jr. I think he's on the right trajectory. I think he might get there a little bit faster than Slay, but we'll wait and see. Miles Marker, what do you got? Please like, share, copy. You don't have to send it, but it still counts good for the channel. Yeah, if you guys can, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, all that stuff. It all helps out, man. Broski, never fear. Broski Bear is here. Hey, good to see you this morning, my friend. Hope you're having a great day. Kim, are we bringing in another wide receiver this week for the practice squad? Won't know that until game day, but it is possible. I think one of the guys gets elevated. Troy, it's nice that we get to see Anzalone face the Rams this week before we do next week. Pick up the tendencies. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and I think you're a lot of truth there. See, Kurt, the Buccaneers play starting quarterback Bryce Hall on IR, cornerback Bryce Hall on IR yesterday. Antoine Winfield will be out Sunday. Correct, and I think they might have another guy in the secondary who's a little beat up too. Dimitri, is AG on the hot seat, Dan? Not yet, but again, I think this defense is designed to get turnovers, not stop yardage. So, and the Lions had their opportunities to get turnovers week 1. We'll wait and see. If they come out and get 3, 4, 5 turnovers this week and win the game, I think there's not going to be much of a hot seat yet on AG. I like what he's doing personally. Patrick, in the 91 playoff game between Detroit and Dallas, both teams had the same designed helmets. The only difference was the decal on the side. The Cowboys never tried to use it for an excuse for. I agree with you there, man. You got a good memory going back that far with that one. To me, it just sounds like sour grapes complaining about that. As far as Stafford, the Rams complaining about the uniforms. If that's your biggest thing, man, I don't know. All right, Michael, Lions 34, Bucs 20. I'll take it. Southwest, the defense did their job. The offense was obviously rusty with no preseason. The Rams had 3 points at the half and too many threes and outs. The D was on the field a lot, and that's why LA had twice as many plays. Yeah, and especially in the second half, we just couldn't. The offense in the third quarter, I hate even saying it, just couldn't sustain anything, which meant the Lions defense had to be on the field forever. Kim, any updates on Broderick Martin's return? No, he's on the IR, so what? Probably after the bye is when he'll return, but he should be, I would think, pretty healthy by then. Sanders, could we have resigned Josh Reynolds? Question mark. How much cap space did we have? I would be nice having him right now, though Denver gave him $7 million a season. We could have, sure. We did have the cap space to do it. For whatever reason, the Lions moved on. I do think some of it had to do with Josh Reynolds. He took a lot of flack for what happened in that NFC title game from fans, etc. I think that's why ultimately he chose to move on. Miles Margaret, Patrick Cheesewell, I did not know that. Hilarious. Didn't suppose the league would allow that now. I don't think the league would probably contest it much, but you never know. Jay Michael, would it be a different story if the corners could have caught at least one of those 3 other interceptions Stafford gave him? Yeah, people probably would have had a lot different opinion on it, especially Brian Branch, because as you guys know, he had at least one of those could have been a pick 6, maybe both of them if he catches them. See, Broski, first 2 opponents for the Lions are extremely injured. How lucky can the Lions be? Hey, it's the NFL, man. When we've been on the other side of that and barely lost games because we were beat up, they don't give you any awards for great effort. So it is what it is. Kurt Steele, Washington doesn't have a great pass rush and sacked Baker once. Yes, this is also a big factor. Baker still threw, 1 or 2 interceptions? Something like that. Broski, Bobo, tears on a river, push on a shovel, don't mean much. Joker on Jack match on a cold fire, and ice a dead man on a scream, never change a thing, doesn't bring you back. Okay, fair enough. Let's see, Southwest, here we go this morning. Hater, you go find your team chat. Yeah, man, keep it about the Lions, man. Keep it about the Lions. Let's see, Broski got that 5-finger death punch down. Kurt Steele, Broski Bear, every team has injuries. You have to play the team in front of you. Winfield played last year in both games, the Lions and lost choice. That's also true, Broski. They didn't beat us last year with those guys, and so is it really going to change this year? I guess we'll wait and see. Details at 11. Key, Lions 37-17. I'll take that. Kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. Greetings and salutations, Duke crew and coach. Woo! And good morning to you too. See, Southwest Super Bowl, no bust, baby. One pride. I concur. Kurt Steele, Boise State Field is blue. That's the one I'm thinking of. Thanks for that, Kurt. Let's see, Chuck E. Cheese. Good morning, all. Idaho has the blue field. Question mark. Right. Go. Woo! And yes, thanks for that. I couldn't remember who had it, man. Broski, Dan, you're referring to Boise State with the blue Smurfs. Thank you. Silver Server, good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you. Big Daz, Boise State has the blue field. Concurred, and thank you all for that. See, Kneecap biting with the Motor City Lions. Our end zone has been blue since Ford Field opened. Matt is salty. Yeah, because he has played here the entire time. It's not like he played at the Silverdome. Kurt Steele, Silver, what up, though? Southwest Reader, the run eater. I like that. He might have to patent that. What up, though, Kurt says kneecap biting. Kurt Steele, Jeremy, kneecap biting, Motor City Lions. What up, though? Michael, let's see, Boise State Broncos football team plays on the blue field at Albertson Stadium on the Boise State University campus in Boise, Idaho. Thank you all for that. See, JP, we all have the home field camouflage advantage. I'll take it. Take all the advantages you can get. Al, what do you got? Green, salutations from Las Vegas. One pride. Defend the den. Hey, good morning to you too, Al. Good to see you in the channel as always. Hopefully it's a great day out there in Vegas for you. See, Broski, Lions should hold Reader out one more week to be safe. They might not. They might just say he's good to go. Let's see, Miles Margaret, Southwest. Okay, yep, and back at you. Let's see, Kneecap just chilling before I pick up my tickets for the big house this morning. Hey, go enjoy the game this weekend. Kurt Steele, Broski Bear, he's going to play. Correct. 9 drinks. Good morning, all. Good morning, 9 drinks. Kneecap biting. Pico was abysmal. If Reader is 100%, let's flipping go. We'll go with that. Miles Mark, good morning. 9 drinks. How you all doing? Key Broski Bear, this past week, he was ready to go for the Rams game, by the way. Let's see, Broski Bear, Kurt, I know he's playing, but I would hold Reader out so Bucs have a better chance at winning. Yes, correct. Perryman, greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Today is not a happy anniversary. Gone but never forgotten. Yes, 9/11, and we're going to be addressing that here in a second here. All right, Perryman, it is 9/11. Correct. I'm all right. Going to try to go around here and see if we can get a couple people in the chat that haven't been in the chat just yet. DM5, good morning, Dan Duker. At least we have this season, folks. Enjoy it while it lasts. If you know what I'm saying after last night, go Lions, 100%. Jeremy, we got Coach Dan. Would you start Maurice Alexander over St. Brown Sunday since it's Brown was quiet? I guess I would go with St. Brown, but to each their own. All right, Johnny Gay Sports, good morning, Dan. Looking forward to this week 2 matchup. Looking for Amon-Ra St. Brown to come back big this weekend. Me too, man. I think he probably will. Amy Green, salutations, Dan and the Duker. Everyone have a super day. Back at you, Amy, as always. Let's see, John, good morning to you all. Back at you, John. Chuck E. Cheese. It was Anzalone, ABD Monty. All right, yeah, I agree. They both played very, very well. Jess, Goff getting game ball from head coach Dan Campbell is strange, given most people thought Goff had a so-so game. Maybe he needs a moral booster, or maybe DC gave it to him knowing, or maybe they talked about it and said, hey, why don't you give this to J-Mo? Maybe it'll mean something more. I mean, there could be layers to it we're just not privy to. All right, let's see. Trump's Genius, did you watch any of the nope, I did not. I can't say I did. Let's see. Ken, curious to see if Houston is inactive again this week. Probable trade chip? It could be, for sure. Bo, good morning, Dan, the Duke Crew. Go Lions, back at you, my friend. Let's see, looking for more. Let's see, Matthew Grace. I think that teams are going to cover the center. Doesn't take as many extra players to cover, harder to double the outside and deep areas. Just need to pick coverage in the middle. Yeah, I think you're probably more right on that than you know. Derek, what do you got? A 100? I'll go with that. Looking for a few more. Villain Squad. They should stop complaining about the team colors. They had the same colors as last year's playoff game. That is true, and yet that somehow that didn't get brought up, right? Let's see, Dimitri, keep the no politics here, guys. No politics. Broski, Villain Squad, Russ, there you go. Let's see, Terry Main, 31-25 Lions. I'll go with that. Let's see, looking for a few more. Applying pressure. Marcus Davenport looked good in game 1. I agree with that, man. I thought he did a real good job, especially, again, considering how fast the Rams are getting rid of the ball. Buddy, good show, Coach. Thank you for that. Eric, good morning, Dan. Back at you. Let's see, Moonscar Blade. Hi, buddy. All right. I think we're all caught up there. So if there is some sort of breaking news today, I'll get it over to you guys as quick as possible. If you real quick could, before you check out of here, hit that subscribe button. We're doing a fundraiser this week. As you guys know, until the end of the Bucs game, every new sub we get will be $1 donated to charity. Also, real quick, if you would, it's free of charge. Takes half a second of time. Hit that thumbs up button, that like button. Last but not least, let's not forget all those that were lost so many years ago on 9/11. I remember I just got done working the sports shift the night before, got back home around 2 or 3 a.m. I was working at a local newspaper and just got done covering stuff and having to write it up for the morning edition. When all of a sudden around, I don't even know, man, 9 o'clock in the morning, my phone just starts blowing up from my head editor needing me to get in the office right away. And I was like, what the heck? And they were like, have you been asleep? I was like, yeah, I didn't get home till 2 or 3 in the morning. They'd had me turn on my TV and I turned on CNBC. Mark Haynes, the former stellar journalist who's now no longer with us, he has passed, was covering it live. And yeah, I saw the second plane hit the building, and I think, like most of America, man, not a day we should ever forget. So it might be one of the last times I can really remember the entire nation coming together. Nobody worried about who you were voting for or whatever else. We're just one family at that point, and I hope we get back to that. So take a moment out of your day, remember those lost and all that ran into the towers to help protect those in need. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you all in the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.